Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the message reads like this. Hello, my brother. How are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I have my own story that I want to share with you. So this story that I want to share with you, it is all about my mother. My mother, before she passed away, she told me one of her darkest secrets. She told me that she was the one who was behind the death of my father. From what we remember, our father was such a good man, but our mother said that even though on the outside our father seemed to be a very good man, but deep down our father was an abuser and he was a womanizer who had no respect for our mother. I then asked my mother and I said, when you say that our father was an abuser, what are you trying to say? That was when I first came across the word that is called emotional abuse. My mother said that from the time that she started dating our father, after she had fallen pregnant for my dear after she had fallen pregnant, that was when she saw that my father, he had a very dark character, sort of like a psychopath. Our father, what he used to do is that whenever he would comment anything, it will be negative. He never found my mother to be someone who could do anything that was positive enough in her life. My mother, she was dark-skinned, so she said that for many, many years, our father kept on saying that he regretted ever making my mom to fall pregnant because from a young age, he only wanted to get married to a woman who was light-skinned, but because he had felt so sorry for my mom, because there was no one who could ever get married to her, considering that she was dark. She said that my father used to say that you are a darkie, the most darkest woman in our village. Yet she was a woman who ended up giving birth to his children. But this is what my father used to do to our mother. My mother then confessed and said that for many, many years she tried to ignore all the bad words that my father used to tell her. Sometimes she said that whenever she will be in bed with our father will become so toxic and she will start crying. And the moment that she will start crying out of the pain that my father would have brought upon her life, it seemed as if our father enjoyed to watch her cry, because whenever my mother will start crying, that was when she said that on that night when she would have cried, then my father will start sleeping with her as if he was enjoying the pain that she was going through. That was the type of a man our father was. From there on, my brother, then my mother said that she then noticed that sometimes my father would get on top of her, and after that he will just climb down and he will say that, let me go out because you are not tasty at all. Maybe if I run away from you, I'll find a woman who can satisfy me in bed. And my father used to get out of the house and would go to a place that we didn't even know, but he was that type of an abuser whereby to his kids he didn't show anything. He would actually walk out of the house smiling, even singing some gospel songs. So we just thought that our parents, they really had a beautiful marriage, but we didn't know that our mother was going through a lot of pain because of that emotional abuse. My mother said that on few nights when my father would have seen that me and my siblings, we would have fallen asleep, then he would bring his girlfriend into the bedroom all along. Before we would have gone to bed, he would be sitting in his car with his girlfriend. This is the type of a man my father was. When my father would realize that we have all gone to bed, that was when he would shout at our mother and he would say, come and open the door. When my mother would open the door, then she would find out that my father would have brought his girlfriend and he would demand that my mother cook for him as well as cooking for his girlfriend. From there on, my mother said that what my father used to do is that when he would get into the bedroom, he would remove the blankets that will be on the bed and he would start joking around with his girlfriend, and he would say that my mother, she is not a clean woman, so he does not want to use the blankets that my mother would have laid on the bed, so they would just sleep on the bed without having any blankets or what. When my mother would go with the food to the bedroom, then my father would just start joking and treating my mother like she was a maid. And he used to say that my mother was a desperate woman, because with all the things that he was doing to her, he found it funny that my mother was just hanging around, because there was no man who could ever love her, and he only loved her because he felt so sorry for her. So my father would end up sleeping with his girlfriends on his matrimonial bed, and my mother will just be sleeping on the floor. But my mother, for a very long time, she said that she kept quiet until one day when she found out that the pain that she was getting, it was too much, and she didn't know what to do. She then approached one of her neighbors, who was an older lady, and she told her that for many, many years she has been suffering from emotional abuse, and she felt that on most occasions when she would be cooking, she would want to put some poison on the food that she will be cooking so that she can die, and us as her children, we can die as well. Maybe she would find some rest in her death. And that older lady then told our mom that it was not a good decision, because anyone who commits suicide can never enter into paradise. Then my mother said, so what am I supposed to do? Because I have suffered, and my husband, he is not changing, and I do not think that he loves me. He has never loved me because of my dark skin. Then that lady said that if she was willing, she could go with her back to the village from where she grew up in. And my mother said it is okay. But she then asked, and she said, what am I going to tell my husband? Then that neighbor, who was once our neighbor, said that all that she had to do was to ask for permission and to tell our father that she wanted to go to church. And she was not going to church alone, but she will be going to church with our neighbor. This is what our mother did. Then our father agreed, because he didn't care anyway about our mother. He knew that when our mother was not around, he could bring his girlfriends into the house without having any guilty conscious. After that, that was when my mother and her neighbor went into the villages, and my mother, she was given some charms. And those charms, when she was given them, they were said to be love potions. But what she didn't know is that some of the charms that she had been given, they were wrongly mixed, and they were toxic, almost poisonous. She then returned back to the city, and she started cooking that love potions as per the instructions. After she started cooking the love potions for our father, then our father started to get sick. What our father used to do is that when he started falling sick, his legs will get so swollen, as well as his hands, they will get so swollen. From there on, our father could no longer go to work. Then he was diagnosed with cancer. Our father just died from cancer, and everyone just thought that it was a normal disease that had taken my father's life. But when we were all grown up, just before our mother had passed away, she was lying on her deathbed in the hospital. One day she just said that, I want to speak with you, my children, whilst I can. We were all gathered around her bed. That was when she gave us this confession, and she said that she wanted to die with a clean heart. She wanted to tell us everything that had happened between her and our father. She said that she only realized that she had given her husband, our father, some food that contained the love potion that was toxic. So our father died from the poisonous substances that she had been cooking for him. After this, my brother, that was when our mother stopped talking, and we could not communicate with her anymore. She would only look at us, and when you would be looking at her, just before she had passed away, you could see that there was too much pain that was hidden in her eyes. And the thing that happened after she died, we then approached one of our mother's younger sister, and we told her everything that our mother had told us. Then she said that, my children, please do not reveal this to anyone. Do not reveal it to any of your relatives, because now that both of your parents have passed away, if you start bringing up the past, then what will you be doing to their memory? So after our mother passed away, then we didn't tell any of our father's relatives this dark secret. Up until today, it is only our mother's younger sister and us as her children that know our mother's dark secret.